Dear students, are you listening me? Okay, अब जाग जाओ. Which topic we have been discussed? Can you tell me which topic we have been discussed? Peptic ulcer. Good. We have started on Saturday. We have started gastrointestinal disorder, and first topic that we are being discussed is acid peptic disease, or mainly peptic ulcer. As you all know that peptic ulcer is very common in our society, and I think every third person is suffering from dyspepsia, heartburn, or even every second person even suffering from dyspepsia, heartburn, epigastric pain, or some other GI problem. सो इट इज़ वेरी कॉमन. और जीपी क्लिनिक में सबसे ज़्यादा पेशेंट्स जो आते हैं वो यूजुअली जो है गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल डिसऑर्डर्स के आते हैं. सो द नॉलेज ऑफ गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल डिसऑर्डर एंड द ड्रग्स यूज फॉर द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ दीज disorders is very important to being a good physician. That is very common, and usually uh, this topic peptic ulcer is a very easy topic, and usually it is asked from the examiner during viva, or even it can be asked in the SEQs to pass the students. If a student is stuck at anywhere, then the GIT disorder or respiratory disorder usually ask to pass the student. So the knowledge of gastrointestinal disorder, peptic ulcer is very important, theoretically as well as practically. Peptic ulcer is a break in the lining of the mucosa of gastrointestinal tract. The most common cause of peptic ulcer is Helicobacter pylori, that is responsible for 90 to 95% of peptic ulcer, while the second most common cause is the drugs. Which drugs? Non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, corticosteroids, and cytotoxic drugs. Peptic ulcer usually caused by the imbalance between the defensive factors and the protective factors. Defensive factors includes the acid, pepsin, and Helicobacter pylori, while protective factors are mucus, bicarbonate, prostaglandins, blood flow. मैंने स्लाइड शो खुद ही बंद किया है because just I want to ask something after this brief introduction. Clear? I want to ask about the drugs. Chiranjeev, can you tell me the drugs that are used for the treatment of peptic ulcer? Quickly write it down in the chat box. What are the different drugs that can be used for the treatment of peptic ulcer? Antibiotics. Good. Why we are using antibiotics? Why we are using antibiotics? Why we are using antibiotics? Because to kill the Helicobacter pylori, because the main cause of peptic ulcer is a Helicobacter pylori. So we have to use combination of antibiotics, combination of 2 or 3 antibiotics, because this is a very notorious organism and it will not kill with the single drug. It may cause resistance. So the combination of therapy is used to kill this microorganism. And it is confirmed after biopsy. It is confirmed after biopsy. Okay? Then you have to give this combination treatment. If the patient having a history of prolonged use of NSAIDs, then you have to use the proton pump inhibitor without antibiotic. Then in that case, there is no need of antibiotic. Remember. Clear? ऐसा नहीं होगा कि in every case of peptic ulcer you are giving the combination of therapy. First you have to confirm the organism and then you have to start the combination therapy. ठीक है? क्योंकि causes का ये भी तो हो सकता है ना कि drug हो. So history is very important. All of you are right. The drugs that are used for the treatment are mainly the antibiotics, the drug that neutralize the gastric acid or inhibit the gastric acid secretion, and number third is the mucosal protective agents. Mucosal protective agents. In this group, in which they inhibit or neutralize the gastric acid secretion are antacids, H2 receptor antagonist, proton pump inhibitor, and pyrazine and propanthyline, that is anticholinergic and practically not used for the treatment of peptic ulcer, because proton pump inhibitor and H2 blockers are quite safer drugs. Antacid is only used for symptomatic relief. Remember, antacid is only used for symptomatic relief. It has no effect on the cure of the disease. It has no effect on the cure of the disease. Clear है? ये and antacid is non-prescription remedy. It is used without prescription. ठीक है? And it just neutralize the gastric acid and relieve the symptoms. If it is used after taking meal, then its duration of action is up to 2 hours. If it is taking empty stomach, then its duration of action is just 30 minutes. We avoid the systemic antacids. We prefer the locally acting antacids, that are the magnesium hydroxide and aluminum hydroxide combination. Clear? Okay, these are the 4 groups. Then we have the drugs that protect the mucosa, and in this group we have misoprostol, sucralfate, and bismuth salicylate, yes, bismuth salt. Then we have antibiotic, in which we have clarithromycin, amoxicillin, tetracycline, and metronidazole. Remember, you have to remember this list of drug. ठीक है? क्लैरिथ्रोमाइसिन यूज होती है. इट डजंट मीन के एरिथ्रोमाइसिन भी यूज हो सकती है या एजिथ्रोमाइसिन भी यूज हो सकती है. एमॉक्सिसिलिन यूज होती है. इट डजंट मीन के पेनिसिलिन जी भी यूज हो सकती है और टिकारसिलिन भी यूज हो सकती है. दीज आर द स्पेसिफिक ड्रग that have effectiveness against H. pylori. Clear? Tetracycline and metronidazole. These are the 4 antibiotics. So you have to remember the name of these drugs. Okay. Then we have discussed the antacids. I think there is no need to go into the detail of antacids again. The important group is H2 receptor blockers. We have discussed most of the things related with this group. Can you tell me the name of H2 receptor antagonist? H2 receptor antagonist कौन से होते हैं? You have to remember the list of the drugs that included in this group, because it can be asked, write down the 6 names or enlist 4 drugs from H2 receptor antagonist. But omeprazole is not a H2 receptor antagonist. अजोल जिसके साथ आ जाएगा ना, दैट इज प्रोटॉन पंप इनहिबिटर. ठीक है? सो सिमिटाडीन, इसमें डीन आ जाएगा. आप ये देखो, इसका सफिक्स क्या है? डीन. इफ यू हैव सीन हियर, इसका सफिक्स क्या है? डीन, DINE. हर ड्रग के एंड में आ जाएगा डीन. सिमिटाडीन, रेनिटाडीन, फिमाटाडीन, निजिटाडीन, रॉक्सीटाडीन एंड लॉक्सीटाडीन. सो डीन जिन ड्रग्स के एंड में आता है, उन सब ड्रग्स को हम कहते हैं H2 रिसेप्टर एंटागोनिस्ट. एंड एज द नेम शोज, आप देखेगा बहुत सारी ड्रग्स ऐसी होती हैं, ग्रुप्स ऐसे होते हैं जिनका मैकेनिज्म उनका नाम बता रहा होता है. अब आप सिमिलरली देखो कि हिस्टामिन रिसेप्टर H2 रिसेप्टर एंटागोनिस्ट क्लियरली आपको बता रहा है कि दीज ड्रग्स प्रोड्यूस देयर इफेक्ट by blocking the H2 receptors. But where this receptor is located? This receptor is located at the parietal cell. This is a picture of, for example, this is a parietal cell. It has different types of receptor, as I show you on Saturday. कौन से receptors होते थे यहाँ पर? Acetylcholine, ठीक है? और कौन सा था? Gastrin. Then H2 receptor. ठीक है? Acetylcholine receptor is stimulated by acetylcholine, H2 receptor by histamine, G receptor by gastrin. ठीक है? All these hormones control the gastrointestinal secretion. In all these three, H2 receptors Yeah, histamine play a major role. Histamine play a major role in the release of gastric acid. Histamine कहाँ से release होती है? Histamine is released from enterochromaffin cells, which lies near to the parietal cell. ठीक है? And from enterochromaffin cell, acetylcholine and gastrin. Acetylcholine and gastrin receptors are also present on the enterochromaffin cell. ठीक है? Enterochromaffin cell पे present होते हैं. Clear? So acetylcholine and gastrin stimulate the release of histamine. Stimulate the release of histamine. So they mainly play a role through the release of histamine. ठीक है, तो then histamine is released from enterochromaffin cell, bind with the parietal cell, a receptor on the parietal cell, and stimulate the release of, this is the hydrogen potassium ATPase pump. ठीक है, hydrogen potassium ATPase pump. From here, hydrogen ion is released and chloride is present in the lumen of the gastrointestinal tract. So hydrogen combined with the chloride and form hydrochloric acid, that is gastric acid. So the purpose of explaining all this is the major role of histamine in releasing the hydrogen ion, because histamine is released, is stimulated by acetylcholine and gastrin from the enterochromaffin cell. Acetylcholine and gastrin can directly bind with the parietal cell and stimulate the release of hydrogen ion, but not as much as with the histamine. Okay, as with the histamine. I think it's clear now. So H2 receptor antagonist stimulate the fasting as well as meal, inhibit the fasting and the meal stimulating gastric acid secretion. Okay, it inhibit the basal means fasting and also the meal stimulating secretion. And it completely block, almost completely block the nocturnal acid secretion. Nocturnal, रात के time जो secretion होती है hydrogen ion की, and this is important in duodenal ulcer, is mainly dependent on histamine. So it block the nocturnal acid secretion completely because that secretion is mainly depend on histamine, while it moderately block the meal stimulating secretion. Meal stimulating secretion is moderately blocked because it dependent on all these gastrin, acetylcholine and histamine. ठीक है, इस वजह से meal stimulating secretion completely block नहीं होगी because the other neurotransmitters and hormone play a role. Then food can cimetidine, ranitidine and famotidine has a bioavailability 50%, while nazitidine has more than 90%. Half-life of these drugs are 1 to 4 hours, and they are metabolized in the liver and excreted out from the kidney. And these are the conditions in which these drugs can be used. And I told you on Saturday that in peptic ulcer, it is only use or cure the peptic ulcer that is caused by NSAID. ठीक है, NSAID induced ulcer, और वो भी उस condition में when we stop the NSAIDs. If patient have to continue the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drug, then the ulcer will not heal with H2 receptor blocker. Then the ulcer will not heal. Symptomatic relief तो उसको दे देगा, but ulcer will not be healed अगर हम उसको continue करेंगे NSAIDs को. If we stop the NSAID and then use the H2 blockers, then it will heal the ulcer. ठीक है? It can be used in all conditions. Gastroesophageal reflux disease. In gastroesophageal reflux disease, usually patient having heartburn, dyspepsia, okay, because of regurgitation of gastric content to the esophagus. So intermittent therapy, not a continuous therapy, intermittent therapy can be helpful. The H2 receptor blockers are quite safe, and they only develop the adverse effect in 3% of the patient, like diarrhea, headache, muscle pain, constipation and fatigue. These are the main adverse effects that can be caused by almost all H2 receptor antagonists. But these are not a very severe adverse effect. Sometime these are the occasional adverse effect. These are the common adverse effect, and these are the occasional adverse effect that occur with specific drug, like mental status changes. Sometime old age patient or the patient having a liver or renal impairment may show the mental status changes like confusion, hallucination, agitation, and slurred speech. But this is only occur with intravenous cimetidine. Intravenous therapy usually is not used in routine. It is only used in severely ill patient. Okay, severely ill patient, unconscious patients. So then IV cimetidine can produce the mental status changes. Otherwise, normally it will not produce. Another thing related to cimetidine, according to adverse effect profile, cimetidine is very important. Sometime in the exam, only ask the adverse effect of cimetidine. If they ask the adverse effect of cimetidine, then you write it down all the adverse effect almost. If anybody asks about the adverse effect of ranitidine, then the adverse effect that is specific to cimetidine will not be included, like this adverse effect. Like this adverse effect. Cimetidine has an anti-androgenic effect, so it can cause gynecomastia, it can cause impotence, and can cause galactorrhea because it has anti-androgenic effect and can increase the prolactin level. Galactorrhea is because of increased prolactin level. So this adverse effect is only specifically specific for cimetidine, not with the ranitidine, not with the nazitidine or any other drug. Clear? It is only occur with the cimetidine. Then blood problem, bradycardia and hypotension. H2 receptors are also present on the heart. H2 receptors are also present on the heart, but normally they are not very active. So, but with IV infusion, sometime patient may have bradycardia or hypotension. Sometime they may have bradycardia and hypotension. But this is also a very rare adverse effect, not a common adverse effect. Common adverse effects are only diarrhea, headache, muscle pain, constipation, and fatigue. Clear? Drug interaction, cimetidine is enzyme inhibitor and very common enzyme inhibitor. It can inhibit the CYP2D6, CYP2C9, and 3A4, and etc. So it inhibit different enzymes, so it can affect the metabolism of various drugs like warfarin, theophylline, phenytoin, and ethanol. The problem is with warfarin, theophylline, these three drugs, having a low therapeutic index. Warfarin, theophylline, and phenytoin. All three has a low therapeutic index, so toxicity can develop with a small increase in the dose. Clear है? So drug history is very important if you want to prescribe cimetidine. Clear? It can compete with creatinine and creatinine and some drugs. For example, prokinamide. As you know, prokinamide is an anti-rhythmic drug for renal tubular secretion. A small amount or some amount of cimetidine is secreted in the renal tubules. So cimetidine can compete with the creatinine and some drugs to be secreted from the tubules. Now we come to the proton pump inhibitor, and proton pump inhibitor is the main group of drug that is used for almost all disorders related to increased gastric acid secretion or erosions or ulceration. Either gastroesophageal reflux disease हो, stress related ulcer हो, peptic ulcer हो, कोई भी condition हो, in all conditions proton pump inhibitors are the drug of choice, and these drugs are omeprazole, lansoprazole, pantoprazole, रेबीप्राजोल एंड इसमोप्राजोल। और बहुत सारी ड्रग्स भी आ गई हुई हैं, ठीक है। एंड यू हैव सीन दे हैव प्राजोल suffix of this group is prazole, omeprazole, lansoprazole, pantoprazole, rabeprazole and esomeprazole, ठीक है। As the name shows, proton pump inhibitor. As you know, the proton pump is present in the parietal cell and it is responsible for the release of hydrogen ion into the lumen, gastric lumen. So the name shows the mechanism of action of this group of drug. This group of drug inhibit the proton pump and inhibit the hydrogen ion secretion. Clear? It can inhibit all type of secretion, fasting, meal stimulating, nocturnal, etc. Because it is the main site or door to release the hydrogen ion. अगर वो डोर क्लोज हो जाएगा तो सिक्रीशन बेशक एसिटाइलकोलिन स्टिमुलेट कर रहा हो, गैस्ट्रिन स्टिमुलेट कर रहा हो या हिस्टामिन स्टिमुलेट कर रहा हो, जब वो डोर क्लोज हो गया इट मींस कि हाइड्रोजन आयन अब बाहर नहीं जा सकता, ठीक है ना। हाइड्रोजन, दिस इज अ डोर। सो अगर ये डोर क्लोज हो गया तो इट मींस कि हाइड्रोजन आयन जो है वो बाहर नहीं जा सकता। जब हाइड्रोजन आयन बाहर नहीं जा सकता तो फिर वो कोई भी इसको स्टिमुलेट करे। So that's why they can inhibit all type of gastric acid secretion. And single dose of drug, remember, single dose of drug can inhibit 70 to 80% of gastric acid secretion. 70 to 80% of gastric acid secretion. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आपने एक डोज दी है और 100% वो सारे प्रोटॉन पंप जितने भी GIT में है सबको ब्लॉक कर देगा, ऐसा नहीं होता। फर्स्ट डोज पे यूजुअली 70 to 80% ब्लॉक होते हैं एंड 3 to continuous treatment of 3 to 4 days are required to for the 100% separation of gastric acid. Clear? And the single dose can inhibit the gastric acid secretion for up to 24 hours. Single dose can inhibit the gastric acid secretion for up to 24 hours. इतनी देर तक इसका इफेक्ट रहता है। I think there is no need to go into detail again. You know, it is excreted, hydrogen ion is secreted from the proton pump in response to the stimulation of histamine, gastrin, and acetylcholine. Okay? So these drugs block this pump, and inhibit the release of hydrogen ion. All are the lipid soluble weak bases. These are the weak bases. And its bioavailability is affected by food, can be reduced by food. That's why it should be given 1 hour before meal or 2 hours after meal. ठीक है, जो है वो ideally it should be given 1 hour before meal to get a good result. Some of these can is available with the intravenous preparations, and omeprazole is also available in the powder form to produce the rapid effect. Omeprazole is available in sachet with sodium bicarb. जब मैंने आपको sodium bicarb का clinical uses बताए थे तो कहा था ना कि omeprazole is available with bicarbonate in sachet form. Sachet में क्यों? Because it produces rapid effect. Otherwise, the as I told you that it is a weak base, so it can be destroyed, or and it is a prodrug. Remember, it is a prodrug. All proton pump inhibitors are the prodrug, so it should be activated first and then it produces its effect, and it can be destroyed in the gastric acid. Weak bases हैं, so it can be protonated or ionized in the in gastric acid. That's why this group of drugs should be given either with the antacids, sodium bicarb, or it should be given in enteric coating. Enteric coating is used to release the drug into the intestine rather than in the stomach. ठीक है, जो इंटेरिक कोटेड कैप्सूल होते हैं, ये इंटेरिक कोटेड कवरिंग होती है, वो प्रोटेक्ट करती है ड्रग को फ्रॉम द गैस्ट्रिक एसिड, ठीक है। सो यहाँ भी इंटेरिक कोटेड उसको गैस्ट्रिक एसिड से प्रोटेक्ट करेगी और इसको ड्रग को रिलीज करेगी इंटेस्टाइन में जाकर, ठीक है। इट्स हाफ लाइफ इज 1.5 hours एंड इट इज मेनली मेटाबोलाइज इन द लीवर, ठीक है। यू कैन सी हियर कि जो है सोडियम बाइकार्ब इंक्रीजेस द इंट्रागैस्ट्रिक पीएच एंड प्रोटेक्ट द ओमिप्राजोल फ्रॉम एसिड डिग्रेडेशन, ठीक है। सो it can be used in sachet or it can be used in enteric coating to prevent its degradation in the stomach. When it is released in the intestine, when it is released in the alkaline medium of intestine, then this drug is absorbed from the intestine, enter into the parietal cell, okay, through the blood they enter into the parietal cell, and in parietal cell canaliculi this drug is activated. In the parietal cell canaliculi, a drug is activated and combine or bind with the proton pump and inhibit the proton pump secretion, that is hydrogenine. Clear? Is it clear the mechanism of action of omeprazole? Is it clear? Are you sleeping, guys? Okay. Omeprazole used in enteric coating or with sodium bicarb, yani antacid, and to protect from the gastric juice, and then it enter into the intestine. From intestine, the drug is released and absorbed through the blood, enter into the parietal cell that is present in the stomach, and in parietal cell canaliculi, this drug is activated and bind with the proton pump and produce their effect. Okay, so okay. One thing I want to tell you that it has 1.5 hour half-life. Its half-life is 1.5 hour, but it produces its effect up to 24 hours. हमने पहले बात की थी ना, single dose can produce effect up to 24 hours. How? Because it irreversibly bind with the proton pump. Because it irreversibly bind with the proton pump and its effect persists until the new proton pump are synthesized. Until the new proton pump are synthesized, and the synthesis of new proton pump required 18 hours. Require 18 hours. Clear? That's why, despite of having very short half-life, its duration of action is very much long. It has long duration of action. Sometime, but most of the time, it is asked in MCQs, it can be asked in SCQs, and it can be asked in Viva. Okay, why? What is the reason that omeprazole, despite of having very short half-life, produce their prolonged effect or produce their effect up to 24 hours? What is the reason? So the reason is it binds irreversibly with the proton pump, and proton pump, and all of you know that irreversible binding will not be a break, okay? And the reverse only, the effect is only reverse when there is a synthesis of new proton pump, and new proton pump synthesis requires 18 hours. 18 hours. Clear? Okay. Now it can be used in gastroesophageal reflux disease intermittently. It can be used in peptic ulcer disease. In both type of peptic ulcer, it is a drug of choice. In H. pylori induced peptic ulcer, it is used in combination therapy. Okay, it heals the ulcer because it completely blocks the gastric acid secretion. Secondly, it has minor antibacterial effect. It has very minor antibacterial effect. Okay. In NSAID associated ulcer, it can heal ulcer even in the presence of NSAIDs. As you know, NSAID disturb the gastric physiology. NSAIDs disturb the gastric physiology, by direct irritation or by increasing the release of decreasing the release of prostaglandin, mucus and bicarbonate. Defensive factors को कम कर देते हैं. So NSAIDs, that's why H2 receptor blocker is not effective in the presence of NSAID, because there is a continuous irritation of the irritant is present that irritate the gastric mucosa. So H2 receptor antagonist is effective in the absence of NSAIDs, while proton pump inhibitors can be effective in the presence of NSAID and can heal the ulcer. It can be used in non-ulcer dyspepsia. It can be used in the prevention of stress-related mucosal bleeding. It can be used in gastrinoma. Gastrinoma are the tumor of gastrointestinal tract, and ideally it is treated by the surgery. But sometimes the tumors is unresectable. Then the increased gastric acid secretion is prevented by giving proton pump inhibitors. Okay? Gastrinoma are the tumors that releases the gastrin, and gastrin continuously stimulate the histamine release and continuously stimulate the parietal cell to release hydrogen ion. So gastrinoma can cause different type of ulcers. To treat unresectable gastrinoma by proton pump inhibitors, it is quite safe and produce adverse effect only in 1.5% of patients. 1.5% of patients, not more than this. So it is very safe drug. It can cause diarrhea, headache, abdominal pain. These are the common adverse effects. But now various studies shows that they may cause interstitial nephritis and chronic kidney disease with prolonged use. Interstitial nephritis and chronic kidney disease for prolonged use. And some studies shows that it may cause dementia, although it is not proven. ठीक है, dementia कुछ studies show कर रही है कि ये dementia cause करता है. Continuous or prolonged use can increase the risk of enteric and respiratory infections and nosocomial pneumonia. Why it increases the risk? As you know, the gastric acid play a role in destroying various microorganisms that we take it with food. Okay, so when there is no gastric acid, then there is increased number of the microbes in our gastrointestinal tract, and they may cause infections like Salmonella, Shigella, E. coli, and even the chances of Clostridium difficile induced infection is increased with prolonged therapy with the proton pump inhibitor. And respiratory chances of respiratory tract infection or community acquired pneumonia is increased with this drug, with prolonged use, not with simple. Acid is required for the absorption of various vitamins and minerals like vitamin B, calcium, zinc, and magnesium. So prolonged use can reduces the absorption of these substances, vitamin B, calcium, zinc, and magnesium. And now it has been proven that the calcium, the prolonged use can causes the calcium deficiency and may increase the chances of hip, spine, and wrist fracture. That's why if a patient need proton pump therapy for the prolonged period of time, then you must check the bone mineral density of the patient and give calcium supplement along with this drug. Okay, give calcium supplement along with this drug to prevent this hip, spine, and wrist fracture. Clear? And as you all know that the gastrin release is regulated by intragastric pH. Gastrin की release जो है, that is regulated by intragastric pH. कि अगर intragastric pH कम होती है, ज़्यादा होती है, तो गैस्ट्रिन की रिलीज बढ़ जाती है. अल्कलाइन अगर हो जाती है तो गैस्ट्रिन की रिलीज बढ़ जाती है और वो फर्दर हाइड्रोजन आयन रिलीज करती है और वो मेंटेन हो जाती है. ठीक है, स्पेसिफिक pH in the stomach should be maintained. But when we give the proton pump inhibitor therapy for long period, what will happen? There is a continuous increased pH in the stomach, and this continuously increased pH of the stomach may increase the release of gastrin. ठीक है, gastrin की release हो जाएगी और they may cause some hyperplasia of enterochromaffin cells or may cause small benign polyps. ठीक है, but this is not a very specific adverse effect. Clear है? The adverse effects are clear, students. The most common adverse effects are diarrhea, headache, abdominal pain. Rare adverse effects are interstitial nephritis, dementia, increased risk of respiratory and enteric infection, okay, and increased risk of hip and wrist and spine fracture because of the decreased absorption or decreased osteoclastic activity of calcium. Clear? Okay, drug interaction is very important because it increases the gastric pH, so it may affect the absorption of some drugs that require the acidic pH. ठीक है, कुछ drugs होती है ना that is required the acidic pH for their absorption, like ketoconazole and digoxin. Ketoconazole and digoxin. So it may interfere or may reduce the absorption of these drugs. Omeprazole, like cimetidine, is a enzyme inhibitor. It is an enzyme inhibitor, so may inhibit the metabolism of diazepam, phenytoin, and warfarin. So should be used with caution, and drug history must be taken before advising any drug. Remember. Now, specifically, esomeprazole can decrease the metabolism of diazepam. Lansoprazole may enhance the clearance of theophylline. These are the specific. Otherwise, mainly the omeprazole inhibit the metabolism of all these drugs. This is from the, I think this is from the Goodman-Gilman. Okay, the doses are given here for different drugs to treat the patient. Clear है? ठीक है. Okay. Now we come to the mucosal protective agents. We have sucralfate, misoprostol, and colloidal bismuth compound. In colloidal bismuth compound, we have two drugs: bismuth subsalicylate and bismuth subcitrate. Bismuth can also be used in combination with other antibiotics and proton pump inhibitor to eradicate the H. pylori, because bismuth compound also have some antimicrobial activity, and it bind with the enterotoxin in the intestine. So bismuth compound from all these mucosal protective agent can be used for eradication of H. pylori along with other drugs. Sucralfate, as you all know, mucosal protective agents bind with the specific protein in the present at the ulcer area, and form a specific okay, let's go, paste like something, and cover the ulcer area and protect the injury, continuous injury of ulcer area with the acid. Okay, so sucralfate is like, it can form the protective coating. Yes, you can say. So this protective coating prevent the diffusion of gastric acid. So all have a same mechanism almost. Okay, all gastroprotective agent has almost same mechanism. They form the protective lining over the damaged mucosa and prevent the diffusion of gastric acid that further causes the problem. Sucralfate is a salt of sulfated aluminum hydroxide, and it forms the physical barrier that impair the diffusion and bind with the specific type of protein that is present in the ulcer area, and also stimulate the prostaglandin and mucus release. Another thing that is related with the mucosal protective agent is almost all stimulate the prostaglandin, mucus, and bicarbonate secretion. Okay, as you know, these are the protective factors. These are the protective factors: prostaglandin, mucus, and bicarbonate. Sucralfate can be its absorption. It required the acidic medium. Sucralfate required the acidic medium to be absorbed. So it should be taken empty stomach 1 hour before meal. 1 hour before meal, and it can be used to prevent stress related ulcer bleeding. Usually it is not used in peptic ulcer because we have some better drugs. It is not used for the non ulcer dyspepsia or other conditions, but still it is effective in stress related ulcer bleeding. Okay, stress related ulcer bleeding. It can cause constipation because it has aluminum salt, and aluminum salt can cause constipation. Okay, so it can cause constipation, and it can affect the absorption of the drugs like fluoroquinolone, theophylline, tetracycline, cimetidine, and phenytoin and digoxin. Okay, because they form the paste over the mucosal lining. Then misoprostol. Uh, Another disadvantage of sucralfate is it should be taken 4 times a day. It should be taken 4 times a day. Okay? While H2 receptor antagonist, cimetidine you have to take 3 times a day. Ranitidine you have to take twice a day. And omeprazole and lansoprazole you can take once a day or twice a day. And this dosing frequency is relatively acceptable for the patient, while 4 times or more frequent dosing is very difficult to take. 4 time patient को drug लेता रहे, usually इसमें compliance problem आ जाता है, patient drug नहीं लेते. So this is another reason sucralfate is not used very commonly for the treatment of ulcer. Misoprostol is a prostaglandin analog, and if you have remembered that the parietal cell also have a receptor for prostaglandin. Parietal cell also have a receptor for prostaglandin, and you can see, and you have seen that the gastrin, acetylcholine, and histamine increases the release of hydrogen ion, while prostaglandin decreases the release of hydrogen ion. It has an inhibitory effect through the GI receptors, through the activation of GI receptor. So misoprostol decreases the gastric acid secretion, ठीक है, and stimulate the mucus and bicarbonate secretion. Mucus and bicarbonate secretion को stimulate करता है और acid secretion को inhibit करता है. It also increases the mucosal blood flow. ठीक है, mucosal blood flow. Misoprostol has a very short half-life, so it should be given 4 times a day. This is a disadvantage. More frequent dosing is a disadvantage of any drug, कि वो जिसकी वजह से वो use नहीं होती. So misoprostol also should be taken 4 times a day, and misoprostol is approved for the prevention of NSAID-induced ulcer. ठीक है, क्योंकि एनसिड्स क्या करते हैं, एनसिड ब्लॉक करते हैं प्रोस्टाग्लैंडिन सिंथेसिस को, जिसकी वजह से वो सारा जो फिजियोलॉजी है स्टमक की वो डिस्टर्ब करते हैं. सो मिसोप्रोस्टोल resume the prostaglandin because it acts as an prostaglandin analog, so it can be beneficial for the prevention of NSAID induced ulcer. And now various NSAID preparations are available in which the drug, the NSAIDs are combined with the misoprostol. For example, diclofenac, one of the preparation is diclofenac plus misoprostol, और the drug का नाम क्या है, Arthotec. Arthotec drug has 2 drugs, misoprostol plus diclofenac. So if the patient having risk of developing ulcer because of use of NSAIDs, then you have to prescribe the drug misoprostol along with the NSAID, or you can use the COX-2 inhibitors. You can use the COX-2 inhibitors. The third choice is Panadol, acetaminophen. Acetaminophen, या Panadol, या paracetamol has no effect on the prostaglandin because they act centrally, if you remember. ठीक है, so this 3 regimens or 3 types of drugs can be used for the treatment of NSAID induced or prevention of NSAID induced ulcer. Misoprostol, another problem with misoprostol. Misoprostol increases the uterine contraction. And misoprostol is available with the name of Cytotec. Cytotec, okay? And Cytotec is famous in gynae ward. Cytotec is famous in gynae ward because it is used for the induction of labor. It is used for the miscarriage, and it is used to initiate the uterine contractions. Cytotec, ठीक है, Cytotec. So its adverse effect is diarrhea, abdominal pain, uterine contraction, and in normal pregnancy it should be avoided. Okay, at term it is used to induce the contraction. If patient is going into the miscarriage, then it can be used to induce the contraction. Otherwise, in normal pregnancy, it should be avoided. Otherwise, it can initiate the premature labor. Colloidal bismuth substances, they also coat the ulcer and stimulate the release of mucus and bicarbonate. As I told you that it has some antimicrobial activity because it binds with the enterotoxin in the intestine. So it can be used in combination with other antibiotic to treat the H. pylori, and it also has an ability to decrease the fluidity of the feces in diarrhea. So it can be used in diarrhea or it can be used in traveler's diarrhea. So its uses are combination therapy for eradication, and it can be used for prevention of traveler's diarrhea because it reduces the fluidity. It has some antimicrobial effect. That's why it is used in this condition. Bismuth subsalicylate can cause the blackening of the stool and the tongue. Can cause the blackening of the stool and tongue, and this is a common adverse effect. It is not used very commonly, so the bismuth toxicity is very rare. This toxicity is very rare, not common. ठीक है, it is rare, not common. The common are the blackening of the stool and the tongue. Now we come to the different therapies of Helicobacter pylori eradication. All of you must remember this combination of drug. It is very commonly asked in the MCQs, SCQs, and Viva. Okay? We have two types of therapies: triple therapy and quadruple therapy. Triple therapy is quite older therapy, okay, in which we are giving two antibiotics plus proton pump inhibitor. You have seen here either clarithromycin plus amoxicillin or metronidazole. If the patient having allergy or hypersensitivity to amoxicillin, then you can give the metronidazole. You have to use either amoxicillin or metronidazole, not both. Clear? Clarithromycin plus amoxicillin or metronidazole plus omeprazole. This therapy should be used for 14 days. 14 दिन के लिए आपने ये कॉम्बिनेशन थेरेपी यूज करवानी है पेशेंट को. देन आफ्टर 14 days you have stopped the clarithromycin, metronidazole, amoxicillin कोई जो भी दे रहे हैं, and omeprazole should be continue for 4 to 6 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks. Duodenal ulcer is heal in less period as compared to gastric ulcer. समझिए कि गैस्ट्रिक अल्सर थोड़ा सा रेजिस्टेंट अल्सर होता है और इट रिक्वायर्स मोर टाइम. लाइक 4 weeks में ड्यूडिनल अल्सर हील हो जाएगा, लेकिन गैस्ट्रिक अल्सर रिक्वायर्स 6 weeks. क्लियर? देन वी हैव क्वाड्रुपल थेरेपी. ठीक है, अकॉर्डिंग टू न्यू रिकमेंडेशन, बिकॉज ट्रिपल थेरेपी से रेजिस्टेंस आ रही थी. नाउ वी आर यूजिंग 3 antibiotics, 3 drugs along with the proton pump inhibitor. So metronidazole, TDS, ठीक है, बिस्मुथ सबसैलिसाइलेट एंड टेट्रासाइक्लिन. एक कॉम्बिनेशन तो ये है, ठीक है, जिसमें मेट्रोनिडाजोल है, बिस्मुथ सबसैलिसाइलेट है एंड टेट्रासाइक्लिन है, अलोंग विद प्रोटॉन पंप इनहिबिटर फॉर 14 days. ठीक है, और उसके बाद आपने 4 to 6 week तक सिर्फ प्रोटॉन पंप इनहिबिटर को कंटिन्यू करना है, जो एंटीबायोटिक्स हैं उनको स्टॉप करना है. क्लियर है? कौन कौन सी एंटीबायोटिक है? मेट्रोनिडाजोल, tetracycline, bismuth subsalicylate, and proton pump inhibitor. Second quadruple therapy has proton pump inhibitor, amoxicillin, clarithromycin, and metronidazole. ठीक है, इसमें ये 3 एंटीबायोटिक हैं, एमोक्सिसिलिन, क्लैरिथ्रोमाइसिन एंड मेट्रोनिडाजोल, along with proton pump inhibitor, along with proton pump inhibitor. So it should be used for 14 days, followed by the proton pump inhibitor for 4 to 6 weeks. This is all about gastric ulcer or peptic ulcer. If you have any query, any question, you can ask. Is there any question? सब कुछ समझ में आ गया या कुछ भी समझ नहीं आया? Nobody have a question. But a respiratory infection, sometimes chronically ill patient may have a regurgitation of the gastric content into the respiratory tract. ठीक है, उस कंडीशन में कॉमन होते हैं, इसमें होते हैं रिगर्जिटेशन हो जाती है गैस्ट्रिक कंटेंट की थोड़ी सी भी अगर, तो फिर बहुत साथ ही ट्रेकिया हमारा और जो है वो हमारा एसोफेगस, अगर वहां पर और वैसे भी ट्रांसमिट हो सकते हैं, अगर बहुत ज्यादा कोलोनाइजेशन बढ़ जाती है बैक्टीरिया की तो वो ट्रेकिया और वो साथ साथ ही हैं और उनको कोई इतना मुश्किल नहीं होती है, एस्पिरेशन ऑफ गैस्ट्रिक कंटेंट की वजह से रेस्पिरेटरी इन्फेक्शंस के चांसेस ज्यादा हो जाते हैं। लेकिन ये आप लोग ये याद रखें कि गैस्ट्रोइंटेस्टिनल ट्रैक्ट या पेप्टिक अल्सर को सब बहुत बेसिक लेते हैं, अगर आप इसमें कोई मिस्टेक करते हो तो फिर आपका पास होना मुश्किल होता है, क्योंकि सब एग्जामिनर्स के नजदीक ये बहुत इजी टॉपिक है और बहुत बेसिक टॉपिक है, एंड एवरीवन मस्ट हैव अ नॉलेज अबाउट पेप्टिक अल्सर, एस्थमा, ठीक है। सो दीज आर द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक्स, प्रैक्टिकली भी और थ्योरेटिकली भी। आप देखोगे अपने सराउंडिंग में, अब आप देखना शुरू करोगे कि जो है ना, हम तकरीबन हर दूसरे बंदे को कोई ना कोई प्रॉब्लम है और वो आपसे पूछेंगे, क्योंकि आप मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स हो तो उनको हर बंदे का आइडिया होगा कि आपको कुछ ना कुछ पता होगा। और हाउ रमजान इज गोइंग ऑन, कैसे गुजर रहे हैं आप लोगों के रोजे? इंशाल्लाह आई थिंक अच्छे ही गुजर रहे होंगे घर में बैठकर, है ना? गुड, वैसे मौसम भी अच्छा है इस बार, गर्मी इतनी ज्यादा आई नहीं है और जाहिर है आप लोगों को कॉलेज हॉस्टल में नहीं रहना पड़ रहा इस साल रमजान में। लगता है आप लोगों के लिए कोरोना फैला है ना, कि आप लोग रोजे आराम से रख सको। अच्छी बात है, इबादत करें, दुआ करें अल्लाह ताला से कि अल्लाह ताला इस आफत से हम सबको निजात दिलाए। और नॉर्मल एक्टिविटीज बेशक हार्ड होती हैं, लेकिन आप लोगों ने देखा होगा कि वो हम मतलब सेटिस्फाइड होते हैं उस सिचुएशन में। अब हर बंदा घरों में बंद बैठा हुआ है, या जो भी एक अजीब अनसर्टेनिटी और एक अजीब सी कंडीशन है, ऐसा ही है ना। बाहर निकलना अच्छा लगता है, पहले हमें भी कॉलेज आना मुश्किल लग रहा होता था, लेकिन अब आते हैं लेक्चर लेने के लिए तो अच्छा लग रहा होता है। ठीक है, ओके, अल्लाह हाफिज।